weekly dose of politics,
snark, and heavy metal music.
All rise, motherfucker.
For your hosts, Brandon
and Matt.
Hide the rum.
Performer hasn't been provided with a script. As a matter of fact, I have been permitted to choose my own words and discuss my own ideas regarding the choice that we face in the next few weeks. I have spent most of my life as a Democrat. I recently have seen fit to follow another course.
The defense policy of the United States is based on a simple premise. The United States does not start fights. We will never be an aggressor.
As for the peace that we would preserve, I wonder who among us would like to approach the wife or mother whose husband or son has died in South Vietnam and ask them if they think this is a peace that should be maintained indefinitely. There can be no real peace while one American is dying someplace in the world for the rest of us. We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I must protect and preserve freedom here, or it will not be passed on to our children, and it will disappear everywhere in the world.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. Regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose.
We, the people. We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We, the people, are the driver. The government is the car. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do.
This administration in Washington has betrayed the working men and women of this country.
I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
A recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when President of the United States loses his.
Someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. The martyrs of history were not fools. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the machine. We've got a lot of audio bites that we're going to get to tonight. I'm going to be honest with you right there. We got a lot. We got a few things that we're going to talk about before we even get to them. Obviously, things are still they're still just screwed up, and it only seems to be getting worse. There's a lot that we can get to, but I'm going to focus on a few certain things. You know, like the First Amendment and a few other things. And I'll be bringing that up for a reason, because of the whole claims that are going on right now about state-controlled media. Sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight face. I couldn't, but we'll get to that. I'll talk to you guys about my my upcoming trip and a few other things. But like I said, I got about, let's see, I'll count them up. There's about 10 clips that we got to get through. Most of them are small, though. I'm sure you all seen what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, well. I say oh, well for a reason. And like I said, we'll get to the whole First Amendment thing and the how I feel about Jimmy Kimmel anyway. But we'll get to that. Some people might be surprised at my my responses to certain things. How are you guys doing? I know Jeremy said he's still angry. Of course, most of us are. Who wouldn't be at this point in time? Because shit is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Let's see. I'm trying to find. I forgot to do something right at the beginning. That's awesome. I'm good. I'm gonna be okay. I always forget shit. Anyhow, like I said, how are you guys doing? Well, first and foremost, I want to know how my people are doing, and not just in the aspect of politics or the as I called it, the shit sandwich a minute ago, but just everything in general. I want to know how you guys are. Personally, I am still absolutely disgusted with the moral decline of society and how people treat one another. And, yeah, we'll definitely be getting into that. I actually wrote an article on that, and it's funny because it's not a big flashy article. It's just straight up and to the point that not a lot of people are reading it. If you guys want to read it, I will give you the link. That's not a problem at all. I even thought about just reading it on air, but it's a little long. Oh, good deal. I know you said last week that you were starting an old job back. That's awesome that you're kind of falling right into it. I believe our Canadian up there is probably done with harvest by now, aren't you? And where's everybody else? It's Thursday. Come on now. Nobody forget about me. That's a joke. I just like having you guys around to have a talk. Just remember, I might be the machine, but you guys are all the machine. Like Human Centipede. Sorry. Oh, that's an understatement. He says, as good as it can be living under a liberal commie government. My apologies for having to deal with. I still don't understand that. They got rid of Castro's little bitch, or I'm sorry, Klaus Schwab's bitch, only to put in Klaus Schwab's bitch 2.0. That's the most logical thing Canada could have done. But he says, no anger here, but surprised at the volume of rage baiting going on online. You're not joking. I see so much of it now that it's, again, you need to read my article because it mentions social media and this kind of thing when I'm referring to moral decline. Because the internet has turned people into idiots. But before we get to anything else, I said I'll talk about my trip a little bit and everything. But I might do that at the end of the show. I'm not sure yet. Well, one of the things I want to address right away is, yes, there's a lot of people, millions of people across the globe, not just millions of people here in the U.S. that did, in fact, they are, in fact, going to mourn Charlie, and rightfully so, because he touched many lives. There's vigils popping up all across the country, and, of course, there's been bomb threats at Turning Point USA headquarters. There's been morons dancing on the side of the road, screaming, fuck your homie and glad he's dead, and what else? Destroying memorials and everything else like that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this right now, and you guys know exactly how I feel about it. Even if there's somebody that I absolutely dislike in a great way. And trust me, the thought had crossed my mind when the leader of the Westboro Baptist Church died, to be one of those petty losers like them. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. I guess it's being this whole moral thing. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So this just goes to show exactly what we've been talking about is, like I said, the moral decline of society and how the left treats everything that isn't theirs. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's going to be one Sunday here in my own hometown. And because I said I was going to go to this, I've already been receiving threats of violence, threats of destruction of my vehicles, wanting to bash the business I'm affiliated with, and everything else. Yeah, seriously, that's going on. I am getting threats and all sorts of stuff, and I got a message for those people. You're not going to faze me, okay? You're not. You might as well give it up. If you got an issue with me, you can just,
Hello, adventurer, and welcome to the town of my dick.
You can suck it. I don't care. Sorry, but you're not gonna. You think that you might have done something and that you silenced a movement or are gonna scare people off. You actually did the opposite. You pissed more people off, including people on your own side who now say that they will never vote or be on that side of the aisle ever again because of the disgusting nature of people. They're saying it. But we will, like I said, we will get to that. I've got about 10 sound bites I need to get through, and I got a few other things. One of the things that I want to mention as well, going back to the poor Ukrainian girl that was stabbed on the train. There was a conversation going on about this, and I watched, unfortunately, the video a couple times, and I wasn't focusing necessarily on her the first time I was, obviously, and my heart just broke. But I was watching the other people in the train. And somebody's like, well, they were all just petrified with fear. I'm like, no, they weren't. The lady next to her was. You can see in her body language, you can see in her face and her eyes and everything else like that, she couldn't believe what she was seeing, and she was almost certainly stricken with fear. The other people, on the other hand, I absolutely disagree. One of the guys got up and walked to the back of the train. You know, actually, a couple of them did. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I get it. You know, like I said, the one next to her was possibly that was actually happening too, but the rest of them should have grew a pair of testicles. Yeah, I'm going to say it. One of them could have ran up there and tackled the guy. He was not paying attention who was behind him or anything else like that. If you weren't going to do that, you could have at least went over there and checked on the young lady and attempted to render aid or do anything you could to protect her. By the way, both of these incidents, or both of these things, should have been on everybody's mind on that train. Why wasn't it? Like I said, I can understand the lady next to her being full of fear or whatever, but everybody else had opportunity to protect that young lady or to knock that motherfucker out, take him down, and hold him. Nobody did a thing. And it... Of course, the response I got from that was, oh, yeah, you're probably one of those that, you know, oh, yeah, you'll say that, but you wouldn't do it. I'm like, oh, you don't know who the fuck I am then. My first initial thought was not towards him because I knew he would probably get caught, but to protect that woman or to render aid or do whatever I could, even if it's comforting her, because there was nothing I could do to save her. So at least she didn't slump to the floor and die alone. Don't fucking challenge me. I guarantee you I'd do it. But again, that's one of my comments about moral decline. Oh no, we'll be talking about the firings and everything else like that. And like I said, I already mentioned Jimmy Kimmel and stuff. But no, that's something that's been bugging me, and seeing the conversations about that young lady and everything. I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen people were trying to justify it. That's insane. But to let her bleed out, to not try and render aid, to not try and stop the son of a bitch, to just do absolutely nothing, is just something I can't comprehend. I can't. It doesn't register with me. It makes me fucking sick. Oh, yeah, we've already talked about that, Jeremy, his 14 previous arrests and everything, but that was something I brought up about my own home state, you know, the Safety Act, which is basically no cash bail. They can get out on their own recognizance and everything else like that. There was a young kid here in my own small town that was murdered because the kid that killed him should have been in jail and not out. There's been multiple incidents of that since they passed that law. They wonder why the crime rate is shit, and they wonder why nothing is getting done, and it's all by their hands. They're the ones that screamed, we should defund the police, and they give these orders that the police can't do their job. But it's all Trump's fault if you listen to our governor. And one of my cameras just glitched out. That's weird. I'm going to have to check the power supply again. I just bought new power supplies. Yeah, I'll do that on break because that thing is going to drive me nuts. No, some of you have even seen and heard some of the things that unfortunately, I mean, I'm wearing my shit magnet hat tonight because of that. But no, like I said, our governor, I mean, the first words out of his mouth was, of course, Trump's rhetoric. Trump's rhetoric? This is the same guy that stood on TV and called anybody in the administration and anybody who voted for them Nazis. This is the same guy that said you need to get in their faces, that you need to have civil unrest, you need to block this, do that, do any manner of basically violent, all this crazy shit that he's called over the years, and now all of a sudden he wants the rhetoric to stop. That's magical, absolutely magical. And others have said the same too. Like Schumer and the propaganda minister Jeffries, and we need to come across the aisle and we need to stop the rhetoric. And you fucking idiots are the rhetoric. You spent years calling people everything but American. And you wonder why your radical side has suddenly became the assassination culture. Oh, but according the white supremacists is the peoples, and they're the most dangerous, and that's what everybody says. Who? Because somebody said it was the FBI that said that. And then we looked at when it was said, and then that was during the Biden administration. And then you look up the statistics that proved otherwise that were under the FBI. It's beautiful. How wrong that they were. One of the greatest things I've heard lately, actually, this morning, when I heard that the president finally, one of them, it could have been the last one, but he's too much of a pussy to do it, has now put Antifa as a terrorist organization. This is something we've known for years. The original Antifa was anti-fascist. The new Antifa is not even close. They're quite the opposite. Their ancestral brethren would have taken their fucking asses out by now because of how they act. But it's about time. But you're also missing one. This is going to piss a few people off. But put the BLM on that list too. They're a terrorism organization as well. They're a money laundering terrorism organization. They don't care about black lives. They never did. And their actions show that they should be on the terrorist list. Don't worry, I'll get the definition for you if you want to know what terrorism is. Because some of you seem to miss that. Let's see. Back one. God, this just... Let's see. Where's it at? Ah, there we go. They would rather divide the people more and then impose more control on them. That's exactly what it is. You're right. Well, we're not the same, Jeremy. Okay? BLM would rather burn, well, there we go, burn, loot. You know, somebody called them burn, loot, and murder. Well, oh well, that's what they are. And you can throw Antifa into that too. They would rather burn and destroy and harm and do all sorts of fucking criminal acts than actually stand for something. The difference between them versus the Kirk crowd that they call it. The Kirk crowd's holding vigils. They're holding candles. They're singing. They're wanting people to get together, just like Charlie did. The other people, on the other hand, at the drop of a hat, would destroy anything in their path. We're not the same. But let's take a break.
Who are these fucking guys?
The Machine Radio Show.
So hot right now.
Don't shove it up.
Showtime. Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
Oh, they're not stupid. They're not full of shit. They're fucking nuts.
Whatever, dumbass.
This is too big stone.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
What the problem is?
Because
Oh, the baddest shitheads.
you know I love them.
Join the show, motherfucker!
And Jeremy, you've absolutely got that right. He says, be someone's hero or be your own victim. If it's to be so, I would rather go down. I would rather go down fighting knowing that I was doing something meaningful, that I was doing something right, than to stand by and do nothing. Still haven't heard it, actually, Dennis. Haven't heard it at all. Sorry, I've been busy. The world's been on fire. But all right, like we were talking about before and we talked about last week, you know, the rhetoric on a particular side of the political spectrum, not the one that everybody seems to want to blame. Well, we've already mentioned this where, you know, if you call someone something for years, yeah, it's probably not going to work out well, especially when they aren't those things. You just project those things onto them. But was it of any surprise that old Chucky Schumer and propaganda minister Jeffries had to come out and say something now? Load up that clip. You know, let's load up the second one too. We might as well do that as well. All right, let's listen to good old Chucky Schumer and the propaganda minister, shall we?
And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Well, look.
Oh, and that's not the only time that Chucky's ever said anything about that. Or like that, period. It's not. But let's listen to what they say now. Suddenly they grow a conscience. It's interesting.
The bottom line is this is a time that all Americans should come together and feel and mourn what happened. Violence, which affects so many different people of so many different political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing, not pointing fingers of blame.
Who in the fuck would want to come together with jackasses like you? The ones that have spent years calling us racist and homophobic and fucking Nazi and fascist and all this other bullshit and calling for people to get in their fucking faces. Huh? Who the fuck is going to want to get together with you guys? I'm just curious. Who is going to want to come across the aisle now? Remember what I said, a week ago, that I despise the fact that they've turned me into something that I am not. I also said at the beginning of the show that my mind is now more clear than ever because I channeled that anger. I decided that I couldn't possibly ever stoop myself to the bottom-feeding fucking level of the people on that side. I just can't do it. Do I think I'm a better man than they are? at this point? Yeah, fucking right I am. My morals are far different. I've never said that before. I've never said I was better than anybody. But at least morally, I definitely am. My moral compass is far stronger. Because despite what they've said, and despite what they're doing, and despite who they are, I still wish them well. I'm not going to be like them. It's just not in me. Let's keep going.
This moment requires leadership that brings the American people together as opposed to trying to further divide us.
Hold on. Mr. Jackass, Hair Propaganda Minister Jeffries, who has spent his entire career doing exactly the opposite of what he just said. One, being a leader. Two, actually bringing people together instead of dividing them. Remember, this cocksucker is always telling everybody that they're fucking racist and that they're Nazis and that they're dangerous and they're, just anything but American. You don't think that bothers people? I mean, most people shrug it off. Usually we do. But you don't think that sticks in the back of their mind? Do you really think for a split second that we're going to forget this? Oh, no. No. Why do you keep saying Eric, Candace, and Tucker? You're going to have to fill me in. But let's finish the audio here.
Violence in any form against any American is unacceptable, should be denounced by everyone, and moving forward, we have to figure out a better way to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans.
They have never wanted to come together with us, ever. Ever. I mean, do you not remember what they fucking, aside from the rhetoric that I've already talked about? Remember, anybody who voted Republican, anybody who decided to not vote for them, well, automatically they're in the MAGA crowd, when they use it as a derogatory term, and they shit on everybody for it. But we're supposed to now suddenly come together. Fuck you. Now, I just let some of my anger out again, but I'll say I can't stoop myself to their level. Okay, I don't want to wish anything on them. I don't want people to get in their faces. I don't want people to scream at them. I don't want people to cause complete civil unrest wherever they are. Because regardless of what kind of piece of shit that they are still a human being, and they just still deserve some measure of peace, unlike what they've said for us. That's why when I go to the Vigil Sunday, I am going to be wearing my GoPro like a body camera, because I hope that some of the jackasses that threatened me because I said I was going to go show up, so I can get them on camera. And I'm going to show everybody the difference between us versus them. And if you think you're going to sneak up on my back or anything else like that, you might want to think twice, because you know what?
Shadow people going to get your ass.
Take that whichever way you will. Morals and standards, something they do not have and can't possess when you believe in nothing. You're not wrong. Asking questions and pushing the topic and getting and have already got threats before this happened. Right. I mean, the feigned outrage of all the bullshit anyway. Like I said last week, they were the people that don't like Charlie are like, why are you guys mourning this man? What about the Democrat lawmakers that were shot in their home? And it was like, okay. I finally started asking them. After they keep repeating that, I was like, all right, let me ask you a question. Who were they? And I was like, where were they from? Who were they? Well, I'm like, exactly. You don't know who the fuck they are. Save your feigned outrage. Shut up. You also didn't read what they found out when these poor people, yes, and I will say poor people, they didn't deserve to die. They didn't deserve to have somebody raid their home and kill them. But you guys also missed the reason why this person who said this is the reason why he did it. That because they voted with Republicans on a bill, that took away funding for immigrant health care. Yeah. That's why. And that's terrible. That's fucking disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting that someone would do that. See, the difference between our side versus yours is we do have sympathy and remorse for anybody who this happens to. But again, I was asked the question, why do you guys care about Charlie so much? Why, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Why is people mourning him? I don't know. Maybe it's because he found a way to bring millions together. He built this juggernaut from the ground up to get people to talk and have a conversation together, and to do it in a polite manner, as opposed to just screaming at one another or attacking one another. Yeah, he touched a lot of lives. He did. And he will forever be remembered for it. Same can't be said for the most of you. No, I disagree, Jeremy. I'll have to disagree on that, sorry. We have tolerated it for far too long, and now they ask more and more with no end. Oh, no, they're now... Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next audio clip, which is... I can't believe I'm going to say this. Remember how we, and we have at great length, made fun of the Fetterman? The guy that wore short, wore gym shorts to Congress and everything else like that, dressed like a complete fucking bum. You could probably smell him through the video when you usually seen him. But I don't know what happened to him, but suddenly he reminds me of the Blue Dog Democrats of old. He sounds like a Democrat, not a progressive shill. I'm going to say I'm starting to almost be proud of him, because he's really being his own man, and he's really, he's said it on multiple occasions. I'm still a Democrat. I still believe in these, this stuff, and I'll vote for it, whatever. But his concept of morality has kicked in, and he's actually started to say things that are very, very, very smart, which used to not be the case. But I applaud him, because, like I said, he reminds me of the Blue Dog Democrats of old. He reminds me of the Kennedy years. The last Blue Dog Democrat was John F. Kennedy. And for those who, think that, we're just evil right-wingers here and stuff like that, no, we're constitutionalists. We don't have a party. But for those of you who think that we are, if you look in the museum back there, behind that that curtain and everything, there's a John F. Kennedy tapestry. Strange thing for a guy that hates everybody to have, right? The crazy right-wingers. Well, what he said in a recent interview, Jeremy, is what sticks out to me, and I want you guys to hear it.
When I represent a state like Pennsylvania, that keeps you honest. And you always can't forget that a lot of Americans happen to disagree with you. That does not mean that they are fascists or now they want to shred the Constitution.
But when you hear some Democrats saying Trump is acting like an autocrat.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you actually compare him to an actual autocrat, that is not just that. Now, last night, for example, people were complaining. They were protesting about, oh, that's the Hitler thing. You just don't ever compare anyone to Hitler and those kinds of extreme things. And now look what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, the man was shot. Now, we have to turn the temperature down. It's like we can't compare people to these kinds of figures in history. And this is not an autocrat. This is a product of a democratic election.
I'm going to stop it right there. Does it or does it not sound like even Fetterman understands that the rhetoric from the left is the reason why Charlie Kirk is dead? Doesn't it? I'll let you guys answer. And yes, he did dress like the Unabomber. With less hair, but yes, he did. It's something that we've already known. We talked about this years and years and years ago. I'm talking about even before, Trump's first term. We talked about this, about the rhetoric and about labeling people everything but American, and what kind of dangers that might possibly be, produce. And it fell on deaf ears, and here we are. The assassination culture is real. And one of the greatest minds of our time is dead because of it. Even Fetterman gets it.
It's like I participated in that. It was safe and it was secure. We lost. And the America people put us in the minority. And now that's democracy. And I revere democracy. I may not like the outcome, but I have to respect that, and I have to find and work through this. And that I do believe that's what's appropriate.
So you don't think that Trump is at all shattering any of the norms of democracy in any way?
I'm saying he's definitely different, but that's what America voted for. Again, I don't agree with many of these things, but that does not make him an autocrat. That does not make someone compare him to people like Hitler and these other outlandish things.
Or as Bernie Sanders would say, we're rapidly running towards an oligarchy. No, now it's oligarchic society, and then we have autocracy. This is the kind of rhetoric that they're talking about. Even fucking Fetterman understands this. Fetterman does not want to be a part of it. And one of the things I do is I read body language. I read, you can tell if somebody is being less than genuine just by their body language. I truly believe, and I could be wrong. It could be lip service. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty fucking close. I believe that he is genuine. I believe what he's saying is absolutely genuine. And I applaud him for it. Even if we disagree on most everything, I applaud him for actually saying what he said and sticking to his guns. I do. That's another difference between us versus the left. We want the discourse. We want to talk back and forth. We want to get ideas, get them together, and go. Okay? That is the whole thing. Nobody, well, they do. They want theirs and theirs alone. They don't want to hear anything outside of what they produce. Here on this show, in the gray area, we're the opposite. Even if we absolutely disagree on something, we can come together and figure out what to do. Now, what Fetterman said, I believe, is genuine. What Schumer and the propaganda minister said, absolutely not. Bullshit. Jeremy, yes, we can agree to disagree, and you probably won't like what I have to say about most of what you just said either. So we'll definitely leave that alone. We'll definitely disagree off of that. And for many reasons. One being personal, actually. But that's fine. We do not have to get into it. But man, I just can't believe, the guy that we used to make fun of the most, the sloth chunk, old fetter bitch, is, I don't know if that stroke made him turn a new leaf or what. And by the way, that's another example of the difference between us versus them. When that happened to Fetterman, I felt for him. It was horrible. And I hated that they were parading him around when he couldn't even speak. It just bugged me to my core. I'm like, leave that poor bastard alone. And I said that. I was like, I hope he gets better. The other side would have been like, oh, he should have just died from it. Like I said, we're not the same. Now I'm just trying to find a song to play real quick because we've only played 2 audio bites. We've got a lot more to go. So next round, we're going to have to really just hit it. Like, really hit it. Let's see. You know what? I played one last week from them, but I feel like playing this one, so let's do it.
You see, it's not the blood you spill that gets you what you want. It's the blood you share. Your family. Your friendships. Your community. These are the most valuable things a man can have. What makes you think everything is wrong? That you have can be taken away. In a world insane, it's still up and kill. I live insane, why you blame me my last? Is it right? Still this all worth fighting for. My pride, your honor. Everyone has a destiny. I'll choose my own. I will not be a victim. I'll choose my own. My pride will go unheard. I'll choose my own. I've got to fight for myself. I'll choose my own. And what I hold so true. Destiny. I'll choose my own destiny. And I'll never let anyone take away what I hold so true. I won't live in denial. I won't turn the other cheek. I must remain convicted and never accept this suffering. I learn from my mistakes and made a promise to myself. I won't live in the past. I won't live in the past. I've been affected by your lies, and I've let them hold me back. I wasn't thinking for myself. I wasn't living for myself. I will not be a victim. I'll choose my own. My cries won't go unheard. I'll choose my own. I've got to fight for myself. I'll choose my own. And what I hold so true. What I have in my heart, what I have in my heart, I'll take to my grave.
Damn, Dennis, that's kind of something I wouldn't have thought of, actually. He says Fetterman is going to position himself as the new version of ex-Senator Joe Manchin. I hadn't thought of that. Well, it depends on who you're pointing that towards, Jeremy, because I guarantee you one of the people we're talking about isn't going there and isn't there now. All right. But here's another one that shocked me. We have incessantly beat up Pierce Morgan. Like, that poor guy has never had a conscience and never been right about much of anything. But in the last few years, I'd say probably in the last 5 or 6 years, that man has been on fire. And what he said this time and what he played, you'll get it.
I have been truly shocked, genuinely truly shocked, by the sheer enormity of brazen, dehumanized calls on social media from people on the woke left, the sort of far left, which has been calling themselves progressive, but in my view are the opposite. But how they reacted to Charlie Kirk's death, we've got a little mashup of some of it.
Now, I'm going to warn you guys, this is absolutely disgusting, but these are some of the ones that I've heard, and there's thousands more. But listen close.
Dong, the witch is dead.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah, ooh.
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier.
I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what they deserve.
I'm stoked right now. You want to know why I'm so stoked?
CK got AK'd, and he's gone.
He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck.
There are.
Oh, there's thousands more, but you get the point. But listen to what else Morgan has to say here.
Hundreds, thousands, maybe more examples like this. But we've seen teachers, we've seen hospital executives, we've seen people who want to run places like the Oxford University Union, for example, and so on, all coming out with similar gleeful celebration at the murder of a 31-year-old father of 2 young children. I find it utterly despicable, but also quite terrifying, actually, that they're so brazenly doing this.
Oh, we're not in shock. See, this is the culture that the Democrats have produced. It is. Again, I will say it over and over and over again. This is what happens. These are the kind of people you get when you demonize people for having a difference of opinion. I mean, you dumb fucks didn't even realize when you were chanting that you killed the one person that would have prayed for you, that would have wanted you to come and sit down and have a conversation. Yeah, you killed the nice one. All right, let's see. And I'm going to just go ahead and put a couple of these up. Let's see. Not it. Where's it at? Okay. You know, these are, you know, they like taking things out of context. So let's take some short clips that aren't out of context and listen to the man that they say is a racist, that he's homophobic, and he's all these isms and ists and phobics and Nazis and white supremacies and everything else like that. Let's listen to some of these clips. One of them is stupid short. It's only, you know, just a few seconds. After I put the right one up. That's it. There it is. Okay.
So how is it that the NBA is 75% black? It's because they're better at basketball than white people generally are. It's not because
That's because of DEI.
No, oh really? What DEI? No, no, seriously. What DEI program or policy does the NBA have? Do they have a stated goal saying we're only going to hire black people? No, the NBA owners say we want the best basketball players, and they end up with a 75% black league. The NFL, it's a cutthroat business. They want the best possible football players. They end up with 50% of the NFL being a black league. We want the best. We want better. We don't care about the color of your skin. We want merit and we want excellence in this country.
And he's absolutely right. And what the fuck is with that guy? Who the hell says that? Oh, the basketball players are DEI hires. Are they? Because these guys will run circles around any of us. Have you ever not watched White Men Can't Jump? But I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. But he's absolutely right. It has nothing to do in this country with the color of your skin. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, okay? I don't care what ethnicity you are. I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care by what name you might call God. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. That is something that everybody should understand, and Charlie did. And you guys killed him for it. But that's not all. Let's listen to the other one.
One thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
He's absolutely right. But remember, you can't say that. You can't say all lives matter. You can't say that you don't care about a person's color, that you don't care about their ethnicity. Because that's just wrong, and you're lying because you're white supremacies. It's fucking disgusting. And Charlie was the one man that proved that. I bet most of you didn't know that he was at the forefront of Blexit. Most of you probably don't even know what Blexit is. And if you do, you would probably refer to the people that left as an Uncle Tom, you know, and all those other derogatory terms that you guys like to use for people that don't agree with you. Again, citing the hateful rhetoric. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I know, Jeremy. I know exactly what you're talking about. He's talking about he said there's a guy named Omar that is a gay black man that met Charlie, and he said Charlie changed his life. He met him, and he was so cool to him. He was a former BLM supporter, but now he's a conservative. You're right. There's a lot of them that have switched over because of Charlie. And like D-Man's Dennis said earlier in the show, 36,000 chapters have been requested from TPUSA. I don't know why somebody would be calling me right now. Let's see. I kind of lost track of my system here. Shoe fly, don't bother me. Oh, by coincidence, that was the next one. All right, since you brought up the gay man, you know, because they keep saying, well, he was homophobic and phobic this and phobic that, and he was against anybody. And okay, well, here's him ripping an ass out of a new or out of a another Christian. Here.
So I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd? And
it is against God. That is
so. Let me ask
Are
you
you
a
a
question.
Christian or not?
Do we live in a theocracy? Yes or no? No. Do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief. But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, then you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, but he was, he was a racist, a homophobe, and all this other stuff, right? Right? He is absolutely right. He said exactly, not in the way I said it, but he said exactly what I said just a minute ago. When I said, I don't care about your ethnicity, I don't care about your color, I don't care about your sexuality, I don't care about what name you call God. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. That is the mark of a true Christian. That is the mark of a good, moral person. Not what we're dealing with from the left at all. Oh, so many people, Jeremy, that owe their careers and their awakening to Charlie. So many. That's what I was talking about, the black conservative groups. That's what I was talking about with Blexit. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, Dennis, about what you said. But Dennis also said he was one man who, with nothing more than spoken word, destroyed any ideology that fell apart under any applied logic. Precisely. No. That was Charlie against another Christian. This kind of disproves the whole hate for him, doesn't it? I'm asking you, does it not? Even just these short clips that are in context instead of out of context, which I've got some out of context bullshit laying around here somewhere. I know I do. That the left has said, that the people that are against Charlie and against the vigils and everything else like that have said. Since these are in context and everything, doesn't sound quite like the guy, right? By the way, this is something he said regularly. Not just once or twice. Regularly. This is what he believed. This was what his life was about. Was bringing people together. And showing love. And getting people to sit down. And just talk to one another. Just talk. I've seen the out of context also, and it's disgusting. You're right, but we're not done. Let me see. We'll pull. You know what? I'll go ahead and knock out some of the Charlie ones, and then we'll take a break. And then we'll get into the rest. Let's see. Okay, where is it? There it is. All right, I got the next two up. One of them's a full 24 seconds. The other one's a minute and 27 seconds. These are all of Charlie speaking. So, it's Charlie Kirk's message. So let's listen.
You will never be the best version of yourself if you allow other people to convince you that you can't be better because of your skin color, because of your sexual identity, because of the community you came from. You must resist those narratives at all costs if you truly want to be successful in America.
Now, is he wrong about that at all? I'm going to play that one more time. It's short. I'll play it again because I want it to sink in, especially to the people that hate him.
You will never be the best version of yourself if you allow other people to convince you that you can't be better because of your skin color, because of your sexual identity, because of the community you came from. You must resist those narratives at all costs if you truly want to be successful in America.
Sorry, my eyes are burning. Well, is he wrong? At all? It kind of even reminds me almost of what Dinesh D'Souza had said, is you are an architect of your own life. In America, we have a dream. No other country has a dream. Here, you are in control of your destiny. You are the commander of your own life. I know I butchered his comment. I used to have it on here that I wanted to keep. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe that was one of the drives that got destroyed. But it reminds me of that. It reminds me of what Dinesh D'Souza said. Yes, the I Have a Dream speech by MLK. Yeah, I agree with that. Two great men that were cut down in their prime because they dared say something that was truthful and against the established way of things. All right, we got one more, and then we'll take a break.
Hello, Charlie. How are you doing today? Good? Okay, so mine's just, I think it's a little dumb question, but I feel like you know more about this than I do, but I think it's a really important question. My question is basically, you know how the country is divided basically into Republican and Democrat, right? And we've kind of became really divided, like, you know, with all of the people right here, you can hear like a really big protest going on right over there.
Our crowd's bigger. But
yeah, but yeah. Why do you think we have become so divided as a country?
Yeah, it's not actually a stupid question. I mean, part of it is, I mean, look, it's going to sound like overly simple, but I do want to ask a question to prove my point. The side that believes in freedom of speech is the side that I believe is on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Has there been an instance, guys, where a liberal has had an open mic on campus where conservative kids can ask questions and you guys feel respected? How many of you kids here on campus, raise your hand, do you feel as if you're graded down if you come out as a Trump supporter or conservative? This is the why we're so divided. Look around. And I hope the professor's still here to look at this. It is not because of conservatives. We seek to heal this country. I'm trying to find common ground. We're trying to look at each other as fellow citizens. Conservatives on campus are treated terribly. Just the other day, by the way.
And he's not wrong. I'm a constitutionalist. I mean, you can call me constitutional conservative, whatever. But that's exactly been my thought process for years. I would rather have common ground. I would rather love thy neighbor. I would rather get along with everybody and despite our differences and see this country and indeed the world thrive. Charlie believed the same. But yes, we had some similarities, but I'll tell you one thing. Charlie's definitely a much better man than I am. And he always will be. His memory is proof. His work is proof of that. He's a far better man than I'll ever be. He's a far better man than most people will ever be. The world is, in fact, like I said last week, poor for his passing. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to get into some other audio. How does one change somebody else's view when they have no morals and they have no standard and their only standard is general anarchy? All the words we speak fall on deaf ears. You're right. I've tried changing minds. I've tried talking to people, and it just doesn't work. It's fucked up also that they make him out to be far-right extremist, yet he was more of a right-wing moderate. Jeremy, if we are the gray area, then he was the leader of the gray area. Jeremy says I can say the same. I have tried, but I'm an asshole sometimes. Oh no, I do not hide the fact that I'm a fucking prick sometimes. That I'm definitely an asshole. Got no issue with that. Your actions are what you get from me. I've always said, and I'll say it again. I'll say it over and over and over again. We can have a conversation, but if you open that door, like insults and name calling and everything else like that, if you open that door, I'm kicking that bitch off the hinges. And trust me, you're not going to like being on the receiving end of that. I'll be polite. I'll be respectful. We'll have a conversation all day long. Sometimes we'll even get heated. But the second you start throwing insults and names and everything else like that, be prepared for what comes next. Because a whole lot of fuck you is going to come your direction. Let's see. What do we want to play now? Perfect.
Hey lefties, liberals, and progressives. This is not a safe space. I repeat, this is not a safe space.
If you are one of those squishies who are easily offended, put on your safety pins, pussy hats, and leave this radio station. Or you can free yourself and get educated.
Well, hell yeah! I tried to twist him up, but he wouldn't have it. Hell no. This old boy, wow, we about to have to keep this one.
You are listening to the Machine Radio Show with your hosts, Brandon
and Matt.
Talking about a bunch of hobos with fingers in each other's pooper in a stranger's car with talk radio playing really loud. It's going to be a nice evening.
Okay, shit just got real weird. I think I'm going to need a safe space.
What the? Are those friends of yours, Matt?
Oh, hell no.
Are you sure?
Oh, shut your dumpster and start the show already.
Well, all right, pissy pants. Let's do everything you want to do. All right, I am back, and we've got a couple more audio bites, and then basically we are just going to sit around, hang out, have a good time. Not that we're not already sitting around, hanging out, and having a good time. Oh, let's see. This one, which is only 1 minute and 5 seconds long. Oh, shit. We might run out of material for tonight. That's okay. Nope, wrong one. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. You've been kicked a lot, but I doubt I'm assuming you mean don't put up with BS, and I'll call it out. Oh, you've seen what I've said to some of them, and especially when it comes to historical matters that they were really wrong about. And you've seen my response to them, and you've seen how I've held my ground. And I was uncompromising in holding my ground. And a lot of them don't like me for it. And I could fucking care less. But, all right, let's move right along. The next one is actually, you mentioned him earlier, Bill Maher. We're going to talk about Bill Maher, and then we're going to talk about Congressman Freitas, Nick. His is a little bit longer. His is about 3 minutes long. But Bill Maher is only about 1 minute and 5 seconds, but it's absolutely relevant, and it's beautiful.
You want to know why I have a bug up my ass about the left more than I used to? It's shit like this. There's an ugliness they never used to have. The liberals I grew up respecting, none of them are like this. There's a lot of people these days who I call liberals in theory. In theory, they hate bullying. Terrible. In practice, their attitude is, it's not bullying when I stick your head in the toilet.
I know that's supposed to be funny, but he's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong. It's okay if they do it, as we see in modern times. Now they scream about the First Amendment when they don't even know what the First Amendment entails. We'll talk about that, but let's move along.
In theory, liberals are compassionate. In practice, it's exactly what Barack Obama had just told the Democrats at their convention not to do.
Our politics have become so polarized these days that all of us across the political spectrum seem so quick to assume the worst in others. Unless they agree with us on every single issue, we start thinking that the only way to win is to scold and shame and out-yell the other side.
Don't.
You know, I'm going to pause that for a second, because the Great Divider had a point right there. He's absolutely truthful, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I agree 100% with the former president on what he said. That's exactly what it is. You need, they think you should out yell and out and be just as evil as you possibly can to one another. It's not the way. It's not the way.
Scold, don't shame, don't out yell. Clinton had the same message. I urge you to meet people where they are.
Now tell me any of that at all, even from Bill Maher, is wrong. And I agree with most people. I did not like Bill Maher. I never did. I mean, he had his moments. He has the right to free speech, just like everybody else. We'll talk about that. We're not done. But I didn't agree with a lot of things that he said. But he had the right to say them. And lately, it's like the veil has been lifted. And he sees them for what they are, which is the most vile, hateful people that have ever walked planet Earth. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, for fuck's sake, I never thought I would agree with Bill Maher. I definitely didn't think I was ever going to agree with Pierce Morgan. I thought Federbitch was just going to fade into obscurity. All these guys have come to the forefront and stood with us and stood with Charlie. Hey, Brian, you still hiding in there somewhere? Or did you run off? Did you fall asleep, old man? I wouldn't even, you know what? I know, Jeremy, damn it. Bill Maher and the Clintons, I know. But I honestly, I wouldn't even say that because I think he was afraid his head was going to be next if he said something. Everybody was worried about the Clintons fucking killing him. Dude, why does it feel like it's 100 fucking degrees in here? Seriously. I'm going to have to go turn my air back on. Like, it's hot in here. Hold on a second, guys. Yep, the heat and air is set on a timer in here, and it was bad. Well, that's exactly the thing, and you know that, and I know that. Sounds like a close root of tell the lie long enough, and it becomes everybody knows the truth. Yep, yeah, everybody's new truth. Yeah, you get it. I'm sure he was afraid to go to bed at night. No shit. All right. Now the last audio bite is Nick Freitas. I don't even think I'm saying his name right. I'm not a super fan of his either, but he does have his moments, and this is one of them. And it's definitely heartfelt, and everybody should hear it.
As a state representative, this is the moment where I'm supposed to express my heartfelt condolences and then stand in solidarity with those on the other side of the aisle as we condemn political violence and stand unified as one people. But we aren't one people, are we? The truth is we haven't been for some time now, and there is really no point in pretending anymore if there ever was. We are two very different peoples. We may occupy the same piece of geography, but that is where the similarities seem to abruptly end. I convinced myself for a long time that whenever the left called me a racist, a bigot, a sexist, a fascist, a threat to democracy, for even the most innocent of disagreements, that it was simply hyperbolic rhetoric done for effect.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. That's exactly what I was referring to. He missed a few names. xenophobic, all that stuff. He missed a few of them that we've been called continuously over the years, but he's not wrong. Let's move on.
And now the effect is a widow and 2 orphaned children because the left couldn't bear the thought of a peaceful man debating them and winning. I don't think they realize it yet, but murdering Charlie is going to be remembered as the day where we finally woke up to what this fight really is. It is not a civil dispute among fellow countrymen. It's a war between diametrically opposed worldviews which cannot peacefully coexist with one another. One side will win and one side will lose. Charlie tried to win that fight through argumentation, through discussion, through peaceful resolution of differences, and the other side murdered him. Not because he was extreme or inciting violence or any other hyperbolic slur they hurled at him. They murdered him because he was effective, because he was unafraid, because he inspired others and made them feel like they had a voice, that they were not alone. And he did it at the very institutions which have fomented so much hatred toward conservatives.
He's right about that as well. One thing I'm gonna say outright, and this is me talking. You guys can think differently or whatever else like that. I am never going to mince words. I'm going to say what I want to say, and if you don't like it, I really don't care. I don't fear you. We don't fear you. All right? You can try your scare tactics. You can threaten us. You can do whatever you want. But like I said at the beginning of the show, if I go down, at least I go down for something important and not just being a shitbag, not being a morally, in moral decline, being an indigent jackass. If I go down, I'm going to go down because it's the right way to do it. You don't put the fear in me. You don't scare me. You're never going to shut me up. Remember years ago what I said, as long as my lungs still have breath in them, they still carry the message. And they might carry it after. You don't think that there's a fail-safe on this computer somewhere? That in the event that something ever happens to me, not that I'm important, Charlie was important. I'm extreme low level and I'm happy there. But if anything was to happen to me, do you think that I don't have a fail-safe, that my voice will not continue, that my voice will ring true and loud just as much as it has for the last 15 years? You're sorely mistaken. You forget who you're dealing with.
I don't want to stand in solidarity with the other side of the aisle. I want to defeat you. I want to defeat the godless ideology that kills babies in the womb, sterilizes confused children, turns our cities into cesspools of degeneracy and lawlessness, and that murdered Charlie Kirk. Social media is aflame right now with leftist celebration of Charlie's death. I wonder if any among them understand what has just happened. If there is a Yamamoto somewhere in their midst warning that all they have done is awoken a sleeping giant. I doubt it.
There is.
I think they gave up such introspection and self-awareness long ago. I don't know exactly what will happen next. I just know that it won't be the same as what has happened in the past. There will be thoughts and prayers. Charlie would have wanted prayers, not for himself, but for those left behind and for the country that he loved. But then there will be a reckoning. My Christian faith requires me to love my enemies and pray for those who curse me. It does not require me to stand idly by in the midst of savagery and barbarism, quite the opposite. So every time I feel tired, every time I feel discouraged or overwhelmed, I am going to watch the video of a good man being murdered in Utah. I will force myself to watch it, and then I will return to the work of destroying the evil ideology responsible for that and so much more. Rest with God, Charlie. Your fight is over. Ours is just beginning.
He's right. And that's exactly how I feel about it. Exactly how I feel about it. You know, I'll let you guys in on something here. Many, many years ago when I started this show, we actually got offered syndication. We got offered to be on AM, FM radio. We got offered to go out and be this big, to try and be this big thing. But here was the problem with that. They wanted to neuter us. They wanted to say, okay, well, you can't say this. You can't make these jokes. You can't play this type of music. You can't do this and that. And I said, absolutely not. And the response that I got was, well, don't you want to be famous? No. I would rather the few people that listen to this show understand the message and understand my true heart than be famous. I could give a fuck about fame. I don't care about your pat on the back. I don't care about being recognized. Although sometimes it's kind of funny when I am. But I don't care about that. That has never been in my my way of thinking. Okay? What I have in this chat room right now, what I have throughout the week, and what I have through the Lost Battlefields community, and what I have through Shadows of Combat and everything else like that, that is what is important to me. Those people are important to me. They are my family. And I'm not just saying because the dickhead in the fucking chat room actually is my family. I'm saying I'm saying they are my family. They are the people I care about. And not because, and you know what? I'll even say as far as not because they're here, but because they have ideas, but because they want to listen to ideas and they want to have a conversation, even if we disagree. You know, Brian and I have had our differences. Jeremy and I have had our differences. Dennis, your time is coming because you're fucking Canadian. Love you, buddy. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying. We have had our differences, but yet we are still here together today. That is what is important to me. You guys are important to me, and you always will be. You know, I'm not going to go into a sappy story about, about all that, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel about this show. That's how I feel about the people that listen to it. We are never going to absolutely get along. We are never going to see eye to eye. Sometimes we might get heated. And I do mean absolutely fucking heated. But at the end of the day, you know, the difference between us versus them is we can get heated. We can call each other motherfuckers and everything else like that. Call each other every name in the book. And 20 minutes later, be like, hey, you want to go get a beer? You want to go get a cheeseburger? Yeah, I do. Let's go do it. The difference between me and them is even if they hate me, and many of them fucking do. Many of them do, especially here in my own hometown. Hate me for my speech. Hate me for representing what I do. Even if they hate me, I still have no issue going right now, just as soon as the show's over, be like, hey, you want to go grab a beer? Do you want to go sit at the restaurant and talk? Whatever else like that. Do you need help? I would be there. But the problem is they wouldn't. Most of them wouldn't. Most of them would not be the same. They'd be like, well, I fucking hate you. I don't want nothing to do with you. You don't represent anything that I agree with. You're this and you're that. You're all these phobic isms and this. That's what I would get. My heart isn't there. And I think I'm not a religious man, okay? I don't even know if I'm a faithful man, but I thank God that I am not like that. I thank God that I am who I am today. That my heart will always be in the right place regardless of what you say about me and what you feel about me. I even wrote a comment about that. You know what? I'm actually going to open up the scourge of the internet known as Facebook. And I'm going to read what I wrote. As soon as I can get Facebook to work. Technology. I love you so much. Okay. Let's find that comment. And by the way, yes, I used a photo of me doing this on the show for the post. The problem is I think I've buried it with all my all my memory posts and stuff like that, and the things that I've been tagged in. Holy shit, there's a lot of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is what I said. I said, what people think of me, I cannot change, and I don't intend to try. I'm no longer attempting to convince people of who I am or what my morals and beliefs I hold. This just means they never paid attention and don't know my heart. I'm just referring to my word, I'm not just referring to my words, but in my actions as well. The cynics of society would disagree, but that's their issue. For every one cynical person, there's dozens of others who would disagree with them. And I stand by those words. Notice how Brian didn't say anything. Fuck you too, Brian. Fuck you very much, sir. And I comment on folks that aren't celebrating but complains about it, dismissing it. Yeah, I get you, Jeremy. I understand that completely. That's the difference between us and them. We agree to disagree, and we can still get along. Oh no, I'll still fucking go after you. I'll be all up in your ass if you say something stupid, especially about history. I'm just fucking with you, Dennis. I've thrown hands at people closest to me, and well, a little bit later we chill, we talk, and we say that fucking sucked. Let's not try to do that again. Yeah, that's happened once or twice here too. But you've got to push really damn hard to get me to that point. But no, going back to what I said, we got offered syndication, we got offered, the possibility of being famous or whatever else like that. But they wanted to neuter the show. They wanted to take away our voice in a way that I was not comfortable with. Yes, I realize I'm a foul-mouthed little prick. I agree with that. I play death metal. I tell dick jokes. I say things that are off color, and I use the F word like a fucking comma. I know that. But in the compromise, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I never could. I could never bring myself to do that. I would rather have the smallest audience on the planet when it comes to radio shows than have the biggest one and just not be myself. Does that make sense at all? I'll let you mow it over. We'll take a break, a quick one, I hope, and we'll talk about the what I mentioned earlier about the First Amendment. But first, I gotta find something I can actually play. Ooh, I got something that I wanted to play. Yeah, this works for me.
Nowadays, people find one thing you said 8, 9, 10 years ago, bring it back up now and cancel your whole fucking career over it. So let me make it easy for you and just say it all right now. My pronouns are fuck you and suck my dick. Unglued, I punch through and bust my clip. I'm a feminist worst enemy running my lip. Now get back in the kitchen, you fucking uptight bitch. Far as gender roles go, maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just sick of women's marches blocking the road. Sick of a culture where a bitch will think looks alone is enough to walk around like the whole world owes them. And in my opinion, ladies, yo, we both got a place in the way that the world works, since we all were just apes. And when you need us to protect you, men will shoulder the weight. And if he doesn't, he's a pussy, which I know is the case with a lot of these little Gen Z arrogant jerks who got so many MMR shots they brains don't work. And they've been saying for years that autism's on the rise. No shit, it's right in front of our eyes. And yeah, I know that I'm an old head now. I'm grown and graduated. I made it just in time to be considered outdated to a younger generation who didn't grow up saying Jew jokes and words like faggot when they were playing. So now I'm just a bigot for the culture I was raised in back in the days when Chinese just meant Asian and people were too busy to just sit around complaining. So why the whole world keep changing? Spread the word. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. If you're a pussy, I suggest you run and hide. And go tell your friends. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. And this time I think I've truly lost my mind.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I'm the generation that I grew up with an iPad, so I think it's silly what these kids identify as. Still make jokes anytime I see a pride flag, never out of hate, it's just funny to me, my bad. Is it a trans man or a cross-dressing man who's physically achieving the things that that only a man can. Then demanding that I be calling a ma'am, and shit is out of hand, but damn trans ma'am. I'm just a dumb cis man, but at least I'm trying to fucking understand. But it seems that I've been passed by the society that I'm in. Walking around looking confused at things like Biden. Wait, let me not compare myself to a pedophile, though I do buy coke from his son once in a while. He be putting in his orders to an Al-Qaeda supporter who just walks right over the fucking border about a mile. Hunter did the whole pile, I just did a couple bumps. Then he bought a couple kids and he threw them in the trunk. Wait, fuck, I am so not down with this kind of stuff. And that's how I killed myself when the Clinton showed up. Yeah, I'ma talk shit in a world gone stupid. Taking ivermectin while the world got boosted. Trying to hold ground while the world's uprooted. Speaking up till the world mutes it. Spread the word. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. If you're a pussy, I suggest you run and hide. And go tell your friends. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. And this time I think I've truly lost my mind.
You're all a bunch of pussies.
Ever since I said I'm voting Trump, I've been a bad guy too. A group of fans I didn't even know I had to lose. And since you're leaving, let me read you one last haiku. Yo, guess what? I voted for him last time too. But you used to hate Trump. How dare you change your opinion? How dare you grow as a person? How dare you say something different than the stuff you used to say? How dare you consider switching? I loved you when I agreed. Now I hate you just for existing. Hate you for this, that, and I hate you for living. I'll comment every time you post, and I'll say that you're grifting and hate women. You're a racist and a shameful depiction. A white privilege, a supremacist, a rapist, a villain, a fucking Nazi. Basically, he murdered the Jews. He dog whistles, gaslights are the words that I use. I don't quite know what they mean, but I heard them on the news. What I'm trying to say is, Webby, fuck you. Fuck you, bitch, I'm still the same Webby. I'm still in Connecticut. I'm still donating every year to save the elephants. Still say thank you for your service to the veterans. And still fuck your mom every Thursday when I'm in town. I bust that bitch down. Didn't like me then? Well, how you like me now? Cause bitch, I'm a pro. I don't need a pronoun. So from right now until I'm in the ground, going spread the word. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. If you're a pussy, I suggest you run and hide. And go tell your friends. Webby's back up on that bullshit again. And this time I think I've truly lost my mind. And now I'm back on my bullshit.
Webby's back, motherfucker.
Forget about it, Frankie.
I'm sorry, that just felt right. It really did. All right, now let's talk about the whole First Amendment thing. We're hearing this because of the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. They're like, well, see, they're suppressing free speech. The government's running it all. Sinclair Media, all this other. No. The First Amendment does give you the right to say things. Okay, it does. You can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that there might not be some fucking consequences for what you said. Okay? Right? Am I wrong? I'll let you answer first. Nope. You can say anything you want anytime, but it says in... Right. Well, aside from the syndicated platform, I mean, I'm even talking about people that's been getting fired and stuff like that. Kimmel said something stupid. He got called out for it. Sinclair Media said, you're in trouble. I knew what you said, dude. I know you got toes for thumbs, but I know what you said. But he said something wrong. He got called out for it. It was not a joke. It was not funny, and it was a flat-out lie. And that's where he got himself in trouble. Okay? He didn't even say it as an opinion. He said a flat-out lie, and he knew it was a lie. And he got in trouble for it. By the way, this is the same guy, you know, his program. Did you know there's some sort of puppet show on television at the same time? Did you know they had more ratings than he did? He's not even in the top 100. He's losing money just as bad as Stephen Colbert is. And by the way, congratulations on him getting his participation trophy. But they're saying, well, the government's doing this, and the First Amendment this and that. Is like, okay, you cocksuckers. Do you not remember when you said that we had to have free speech zones? Do you remember when you used the IRS and the FBI to target conservatives? Do you remember, speaking of the FBI, putting parents on the FBI watch list because they dare ask questions about their kids' well-being at school meetings? Do you remember the Disinformation Governance Board? Do you remember using social media, the scourge of the planet, and telling them they have to report to you and they have to filter information on your behalf? Do you remember that? Because that wasn't us, that was you. Right now, what you're seeing is consequences for being a piece of shit. If you're out there celebrating a man's death because he didn't see eye to eye with you, well, you didn't see eye to eye with him. He tried to see eye to eye with you. Like I said, you killed the one man that was the nicest among us. Yeah, your employer doesn't have to deal with that. You have the right to say it. Like I told somebody else, yes, you in fact have the right to yell fire in a crowded theater. But guess what? You're probably going to get fucking arrested for inciting a panic. You have the right to say it, but that doesn't mean that you might not have some consequences follow behind you. So if you're one of those that was tap dancing and saying, great shot, cervical spine, and chanting, we got Charlie in the neck and stuff like that, and your employer said, you know what, we don't want that kind of a disgusting piece of shit human being working for us, well, that's your fault. That's not a violation of your freedom of speech. You got to say it. That's the consequences of your freedom of speech. So, surprise.
Mavaleka.
Holy fuck, I figured after what I said earlier that Brian would have been all over me, but he's not said anything. I feel kind of hurt on a personal level. Advocating violence is not protected speech. No, absolutely not. I even told one of them to their face, like no joke, said this to their face when they were arguing about that First Amendment stuff about Kimmel. I was like, I'll tell you what. I got a challenge for you. I want you to go to the local office, representative, senator, whatever. Go up to them and just look them dead in the eye, especially since you hate us and hate Republicans, because you think guilt by association that everybody's a Republican if they're not a Democrat, which is wrong. But I want you to go up to one of them and just look them dead in the eye. And I can't wait for people to take this out of context and cut my little talk here and use it against me, even though it's going to be out here, as a whole. But I want you to walk up to them, look them in the eye, and say, I could fucking kill you right now, or I want to kill you. I should kill you. I dare you to say that, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to be eating pavement. You're probably going to ride the lightning. You may even get pepper sprayed. Because your free speech had a consequence. Now, what? There's a lot of things I want to say. I want to go through a little bit more, but I want you. I want you to mull over what I just said. I mean, I get it, okay? I am one of those First Amendment people. Hell, I'm wearing a, liberty or death right now. Second Amendment. But as a constitutionalist, I understand that. But I also understand that there are things that you can say, but might be not such a good idea after all. And right now, especially as an employer, okay, I will tell you right now, if you were one of my employees and you came in and said, fuck Charlie Kirk, I'm going to tap dance on his grave, you would probably not have a job. Because I'm not going to have somebody with that kind of negative attitude and bullshit work for me. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does for most. But that's the whole thing. I mean, you had business professionals, you had fucking teachers, which, by the way, I was appalled at how many teachers said such stupid shit like that. Like, just insane amount. I'm like, and you guys wonder why we say the education system is nothing more than a propaganda machine. That it's no longer to shape young minds and make them think. It's to tell them what to think. Charlie understood this too. Yeah, I was pretty disgusted with Bondi for a bit. I'm not going to lie. But then again, living in the gray area, you don't have to kiss the ass of the entire administration because people think you should. And people automatically assume that you do when you don't. No, they've been running around without consequences this entire time, Dennis, and that's exactly the problem. And now they're reaping what they sow. And by the way, if you don't want people, okay, if you don't want the government, and believe me, we don't either. If you don't want the government to do certain things, then don't vote in people that say those certain things are okay and then make bills about them. And then when they're used against you because, you can't stay in office forever, sorry, but that's your fault. Because a lot of the things that's happening now, you guys wrote bills about. You wrote executive, the auto pen guy wrote executive orders about. Yeah, it's on the books. So who's to blame here? If you don't want something used against you, well, obviously don't make that. Don't use that. Don't turn it into a bill. Don't turn it into a law. Because eventually it might. And then you get all butthurt when it happens. Yeah, I know. I seen that. I was going to bring that up, but I knew we weren't probably going to have time. Okay, guys. Now I got to fill you in. I'm probably and obviously not going to be here next week. All right. There's going to be one show that's missed. I am going to be gone. I'm going to be on my vacation. It's my annual trip where I go to try and acquire more items for the museum and more photos and more videos for the museum and stuff like that, more content. It's going to be real tight this year. I don't think I'm going to be able to do much because I just don't. This year's been bad. I don't have the funding, and I didn't do the necessarily the crowdfunding route that everybody thought I should do, because there is a donation button for not only the radio show but a donation button for Shadows of Combat Museum to help further the museum, because it is obviously not for profit. Everything that goes to that museum is either donated or out of pocket. So this year's not looking so good. Don't really have the money. I am way short, but I'm going to do the best I can to build the museum and continue my love and my, I love to teach. I love teaching people about history, and I love having tangible objects for them to see and sometimes, be able to touch. And in order to do that, sometimes it takes it does. It takes a lot of money, and I just don't have it. But I'm doing the best that I can. I'll bring you guys everything that I can, video-wise and photo-wise, and hopefully do some wheeling and dealing. And maybe before I leave Monday, find some more funding to take with me. But I can't wait to come back and share with you guys what I've found, what I've seen, and it's really it's not just a passion. It is. I mean, it is a passion, but I love to teach it, and I love people to understand history, real history, not this sugar-coated, boiled down, narrative-driven stuff, but actual history. And some of the guys that I run into up there on my trip, they are just as well into it as I am, and they love to talk, and they love to, some of them are reenactors and stuff like that, and they're so knowledgeable and so intelligent when it comes to what unit they might be representing, or what period of the war that they were in, and everything else like that. It's just beautiful, and I love bringing that to you guys. But sometimes I just need your help. But I'm not asking for it. If you guys want to help, that's fine. You know how to get a hold of me. But for now, I am going to set up for the outro, and hopefully Sunday goes off without a hitch, because like I said, the vigil for Charlie will be Sunday in my hometown. I hope it goes well and we don't have any issues, but my faith in humanity, of course, is not so much there anymore. Jeremy, I have actually sent stuff for the Fat Electrician, actually. And I love that dude. He's fucking awesome, and I hope to someday do something with him instead of just speak back and forth occasionally through comment. But I will see you guys later, and I'll try to check in next week. I mean, even if I do a short video and just post it and let you guys send messages on it or whatever. But that being said, again, I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you're here. I love talking with you, not at you. Tell your friends. Tell those friends that, tell 5 friends. Tell those friends to tell 5 friends. Like and subscribe. Kick the algorithm in the balls. Let's keep this thing moving. And if you get a chance, check out Shadows of Combat Museum. Check out Lost Battlefields with Tino Struckman. I can list you some others. Of course, my brother from another mother, who's a giant pain in my ass. Mr. Ho-Ho, the Ho-Ho Show. Check out him. Check out, check out David. Matt's going to be coming back with a new show. Don't forget about that, about men's mental health. I can't wait to help him somehow in one way, shape, or form with that. But I will see you guys. I'll miss you next week. And on that note, I'm out of here.
We spend our lives left out in the rain as you stand dry behind the window pane. Don't try to understand us, you have no clue. So I took a bat and I broke the glass. You're exclusive, but you have no class. Never been first, but we're built to last, and we're not afraid of you. Born to make you uncomfortable. Our hate is unconditional. Coexistence is impossible, and we're coming for you. With a black flag covering the militia truth. Raise a black flag, pledge allegiance to our roots. With a black flag coming demolition crew. You can see on me, and I'll be back on you. You spend your life sheltered in the shade. We stood in the ruins as the fires blaze. You tried to dull our and the rust, cooking with your syllabus.